Okay, let's start again. Second try. This is according to what I can discover, and I'm hardly expert, as you can see. This is a Japanese Armory issued officer's sword from late in the war. And the way you can tell it's late is if this is authentic, that's the end that was put on when they were right at the end, the last year of the war. They were out of materials, they were out of time. Why they were giving swords to people anyway is beyond me, but I'll get close so you can see it. It's not a work of art, but it gives you the message. It holds the, I'll have names for all this because I have to look at my computer to get them. But you can see the components. This is, I put on later, it's just a spacer or a piece of steel that was sold to me for nothing. And I'll name all these parts for you. The shark skin inside. The wrap can be redone, but so can a lot of things on this. But then when you redo it, you can't date it. Although this appears to be late 1944, but I'll tell you why later. This is at least somewhere near the correct length. If it was an officer's sword, it'd have a gold or orange throw to it, even company grade. And then they get prettier as you go up the ranks. Try to keep it, the piece is at least authentic. And that fits in there, like that, and you pound it through. There's two of them, but the one down below is decorative because it doesn't agree with the wrap. The wrap's worn out. You can see the shims. They have little paper, newspaper shims in it. Rice paper. Okay. So let's start with what I do know. I made the top, everything valuable was taken off this. The top of the sheath was missing. That would be a nice piece of metal. That's one out of water buffalo horn that I put together. These are all this, I think they're Scabbard, but I'll read all this to you. These are just shims. These are authentic. That one and this one. That's all that came with it. This is one I picked up on eBay, which was supposed to be Edo period steel. It feels like a piece of steel, but it may have been aged. And I got it with just the one hole in it, which is okay. For this, which was the original belt holder, that I think it went over an officer's belt if he was riding a horse. You didn't want the sheath to move. It does also hold the sword, but the sword here would have a clip, a button. There'd be a button in the middle of that, and you'd press it, and there's a little latch that holds the sword in, and you can see where the sword, it's not there. The sword would engage. You can sort of see a little rub on the inside there. That's where there'd be a tongue and a little hickey that held the sword sheath. But this is the original one. It was turning, they call it red rot, and it was actually turning to dust. So I took it and glued it to a backing, a leather backing, and this is made out of a piece of belt. That's what the original one looked at. That's the original fitting, little silver electroplated thing that's held in there. That's original. Nothing else is. And underneath there are good pieces of hardware. You could feel them. Down here there would be normally a piece. I don't think it's there. It might just be, but it is bamboo. You saw the wood, whatever they made the wood out of, probably not bamboo, but something akin to it. Anyway, it's wooden inside and it's dirty. It always dirties the blade up. So it's missing the original officer's issued handguard, and I'll give you the Japanese names for this, and that just fit on the right here, fit right there, and I'll flip over the blade, which has damage on it. I wouldn't go as far to say battle damage, but you know, a kid playing with it with his right hand could put these dents in it. Don't know how much of them you could see, but the point was broken, and not broken, but you could see it was grabbed by a tong at the end, and it's been straightened. And I've polished it just with 3000 wet sandpaper to clean it. It was absolutely black. I was going to let it that way, but hey, can I tell you? No, it is not sharpened, otherwise I would have been in the hospital by now. You can really sharpen these. It's surgical grade steel. And this inscription, as best I could tell, is at the right end is the month, which is 9, which is September, and then the Edo year, the current, or excuse me, I think it's Shogo, whatever it is, Showa, the Showa era, which is 1926 plus the numbers here. And the numbers are those two inscriptions, the plus, then the 2 slashes means 18. So you add 18 to 26, you get 1944, September 1944. And possibly, although this could mean, it could also mean the province where it was made, or that the master that it was designed after. But you see the 2 boxes, I think. Let's see, I'm a little too far back here. Right there. 2 boxes. It could mean Sunday, or it could mean Seki, but I think Seki's a reach, even though the guy that appraised it said it was Seki. And there you could see the scraping on it, like where they hit it, I guess after it's cast, and score it. And you see the slashes, all the abrasions. So that's authentic. The blackness and the aging's authentic. I didn't clean that. That's just from coming in and out of the handle. And then there's three red manufacturing marks that the foundry would have slopped on it. I think it's inspector marks. Again, that's a reach. But it's Sa, Ka, and the number 9, which may correspond to the month that it was manufactured in. But it's a factory code. Nobody knows what they mean, other than the characters themselves. These characters are on the left is supposed to be the family or the home of the province, that in Japan where this thing was associated with. And then on the right is, believe it or not, Okinawa. There were forges in Okinawa late in the war, up until the invasion, and you can see it there. That might be an Okinawa forging mark. Right here, hard to see, is the Japanese Armory mark, that it is issued by the Japanese Army, and that's it. And the only way you know it's an officer's sword, and this is iffy, is you would know by the lanyard there, that which was missing. You might know it that these are very rare, what's left of mine, which fell off as soon as I got it. But this thing says it's an officer's sword. The sergeants, the NCO swords, could be, but they were more katanas with blood grooves, which I'll give you the Japanese rendition of. And I'll assemble this for you and show you exactly what it was. But there's something underneath this. They often put these on because in the tropics, although Okinawa is like Bermuda in weather, it's a very nice weather thing if you're not on the volcano getting killed. If you're in the caves, it's nice because it's nice and cool out of the sun. But this, underneath this, is where the might be a clue to the owner or the officers. A lot of things with the blade are missing. It was not sharpened. But what is interesting is right here where they did on some models, get this out of the way, on some models they put a little mark, and it was the mark of the electric company that made stainless steel blades because they had an electric furnace. And I don't know if you're seeing this at all. Tough to see. Right there. See that little thing? I can't get this going here. It's a tiny little mark on the blade. But that's where they put it. They would put it, stamp it right on that crease in the blade. And I'm not healthy in here at all. There it is. Maybe we keep it there for a second. There. And I'll go in as close as I can. See it? And that almost is the remainder. The electric company's symbol was a little circle at the bottom with an M looking thing inside it. And then it had like an arrow to the right and things to the left. And I've seen it in different forms other than the graphic form, but when it's stamped on, that's where they put it, right on that crease. And of course the blade has all sorts of features. If you know what this thing is, for real, you're Japanese and you understand such things, I'd like to know. Even though it's been largely reassembled from what are probably unauthentic parts, but they're the right size. They're except this is not. This is half the thickness of a military handguard. And I'll read if my computer's still on. I'll read the what it says here. Yeah, it's still here. Let me read it to you. I'll try to point to stuff. Let's see. We have this here is a Suba, and this is a Fuchi right there on the end, that piece. I don't have any of the wrapping. I could do it, but there's a wrapping that should go on right here. Wraps around. I have never seen one featured with this, with the little leather latch on it. The blade is missing a muni, it's missing the Heyman sharpening pattern, it's missing, I think the high might be this middle crease. It's missing, I didn't check the Nagase, it looks good. Might be the Shingawa, I don't know, this thing. And let's see what else. The tip does not have a Hasaki crease on it, or a Yokosa, or it just ends, and there's a tongue mark where somebody grabbed to straighten it. I'll show you on the other side. See the way you know, the features are there, but you see this stuff at the end, and you could actually feel it's a little bump there where they grabbed it. Now there's no grab mark on this side, and that's why I think that's the authentic mark on the other side. That thing right there. I don't know how much of you can see there, but see that little hickey? I thought that was a tongue mark, but I think it's actually the mark of the electric company. This might be stainless steel, which they were making, and all sorts of names. Let me see if I can get this up here. Like this is the Minuki. It won't show me. The Minuki actually is this thing, which is probably a silver-plated, electro-plated thing. You see it wrapped in the wrap. And there's one on the other side. I haven't bothered those. I pretty much didn't bother. You see how dirty it is. So, you know, if that's authentic, if dirt is authentic, then that's it. So I'll give up on this. And if anybody knows exactly what it is, especially the markings stamped into the blade itself, it'd be great to hear from somebody that actually knows what it is. I don't, obviously, but I did my best. September, it would have been one of the 3 Sundays in September. The 9th, which is a number that shows up twice on here, 9th in the stamp mark, and 9th in the, or was it? There's another 9. Oh, and the inspector's mark, which is sort of faded, because I've moved it. I have moved it in and out of the. See these things, the red. It's either red or silver, or some yellow sometimes, but they're usually red or white. The inspector's marks. And this was original. That I was beat up. There are battle marks in it, but might be child battle marks. But you know, if you let your kid play with this, I guess it's okay, right? But they're on the inside of the blade, like a right hand would swing it. Same way up here. If that's not a tongue mark, then somebody really hit a barrel or something, a hot barrel. But you see them along the edge. And then I think that's the electric company mark. I don't know, I think it was Nikkei Electric, the Japanese electric company. And it's actually the logo, what remains of the logo. With that, I leave you. Good luck. I'll keep at it, but if I found out anything certain, I'll let you know. Bye-bye.